Hey, hey. Um, this would be my second video on poem, a poem by Rudyard Kipling. It's an older video I did, his poem If. He, um, he was a very wise man. He was a wise poet. I don't know anything of his personal history or his beliefs or politics, but the legacy he left with his poems, his poetry, always strike a deep, always touch me deeply. Anyway, I'm not a verbose or well articulated man myself. So what I do is I humble myself and borrow wisdom where I can find it. This one I ran across 20 years ago. Actually, this poem here is it is a little over 100 years old. I believe it was written in 1919. I'm just going to read it. It's a long one, so bear with me. Grab a drink. We need to get back to first principles. I'll leave it at that and just go ahead and start reading this. The Gods of the Copybook Headings by Rudyard Kipling. As I pass through, oh, and by the way, before I get started, I am going to link this. It is a really good article written just last year, breaking down what Kipling was getting at. I agree with the analysis, at least. I'm sure there's many different ways of looking at this, but I agree with this fella. The Gods of the Copybook Headings. As I pass through my incarnations in every age and race, I make my proper prostrations to the gods of the marketplace. Peering through reverent fingers, I watch them flourish and fall, and the gods of the copybook headings, I notice, outlast them all. We were living in trees when they met us. They showed us each in turn that water would certainly wet us and fire would certainly burn. But we found them lacking in uplift, vision, and breadth of mind. So we left them to teach the gorillas while we followed the march of mankind. We moved as the spirit listed. They never altered their pace, being neither cloud nor wind-born like the gods of the marketplace. They always caught up with our progress, and presently word would come that a tribe had been wiped off its ice field or the lights had gone out in Rome. With the hopes that our world is built on they were utterly with the hopes that our world is built on they were utterly out of touch. They denied that the moon was Stilton. They denied that she was even Dutch. They denied that wishes were horses. They denied that a pig had wings. So we worshipped the gods of the marketplace who promised these beautiful things. When the Cambrian measures were forming, they promised perpetual peace. They swore that if we gave them our weapons, that the wars of the tribes would cease. But when we disarmed, they sold us and delivered us bound to our foe. And the gods of the copybook headings said, stick to the devil you know. On the first Fermian sandstones, we were promised the fuller life, which started by loving our neighbor and ended by loving his wife, till our women had no more children and the men lost reason and faith. And the gods of the copybook headings said the wages of sin were death. In the Carboniferous epoch, we were promised abundance for all by robbing selected Peter to pay for collective Paul. But though we had plenty of money, there was nothing our money could buy. The gods of the copybook headings said, if you don't work, you will die. Then the gods of the market tumbled, and their smooth-tongued wizards withdrew, and the hearts of the meanest were humbled, and began to believe it was true, that all is not gold that glitters, and two make four. And the gods of the copybook headings limped up to explain once more. As it will be in the future, it was at the birth of man. There are only 4 things certain since social progress began: that the dog returns to his vomit, and the sow returns to her mire, and the burnt fool's bandaged finger goes wobbling back to the fire. And that after this is accomplished, and the brave new world begins, when all men were paid for existing, and no man must pay for his sins, as surely as water will wet us, as surely as fire will burn, the gods of the copybook headings would tear and slaughter return. That's the end of the poem there. In other words, truth, wisdom, first principles never change. Culture changes, society changes, we change. Progress is good. It needs to be good progress. Define good. It's a $64,000 question there, isn't it? Kipling talks about our economy. Second Amendment. He hits a lot of the big troubles we're going through right now. Like I said, this was written shortly after World War I. So there.